Welcome to this animated summary of Free Prize Inside: How to Make a Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Let's get right into it. Lesson 1. Why you need a free prize. Years ago, the path to success involved one of the following strategies. The first strategy was to spend a lot of money on conventional advertising, like television, magazines, newspapers, and radio. You would spend lots of money coming up with a big marketing plan. Then you'd spend millions on conventional advertising to build a brand around a commodity product. Finally, with the added brand value, you could charge a premium for your commodity product. For example, cereal makers discovered that adding a character to the cereal box and running lots of television ads allowed them to charge much more money for their sugary cereals. But was the brand name cereal really better than the alternative? Or did we all just want to buy the sugary stuff with the tiger on the box? The second strategy was to spend lots of money on research and development to come up with a breakthrough innovation. First, you would spend millions of dollars to come up with some kind of revolutionary product. Then, you would patent that product and thereby create a barrier to entry for your competitors. Finally, you could charge enough money for the patented product to make the company a nice profit. For example, the Apple II was a big risk, and it paid off. If you invented something incredible and revolutionary like the Apple II, and if that product caught on, you could really make a lot of money. The point Seth Godin makes in Free Prize Inside is that these old pillars of success are way more risky now than they used to be. And it's no longer necessary to differentiate yourself with expensive patents or million-dollar ad campaigns. There's a better way. So, what is the answer? Seth Godin tells us that the answer is a free prize, and the way we get there is soft innovation. So what is soft innovation? Soft innovation is what you, the marketer, can see, and it doesn't require a PhD. It's a clever and inexpensive iteration of an existing product or service. It's the type of thing that, if it catches on, and if the consumers want it, it becomes a free prize. So that leads us to the next question. What is a free prize? A free prize has two key characteristics. First, it's a remarkable feature about your product or service that people want to talk about. Second, a free prize is not about what people need, it's about what people want. In other words, it doesn't deliver more of what the consumer buys, it delivers something extra. In this way, a free prize makes an ordinary product a remarkable product. A free prize turns a normal cow into a purple cow. Seth Godin says it like this: the free prize is the element that transcends the utility of the original idea and adds a special, unique element worth paying extra for, worth commenting on. For example, kids don't talk about a McDonald's Happy Meal because of the chicken and fries. They talk about the prize. Let's use another example. How about Amazon? In the early 2000s, Amazon announced they were going to stop spending millions on advertising and instead put that same money into free shipping. At the time, the idea of not spending big ad bucks sounded insane, and critics hailed it as the end of Amazon. When asked about the bold move, Jeff Bezos had a brilliant and simple response. He said, "Word of mouth is very powerful." Of course, Jeff Bezos was right, and after 12 months, Amazon's sales were up over 37%, and international growth was up an astonishing 81% over the same period. Free shipping was the free prize inside that consumers raved about. It paid off then, and it's still paying off now. Let's move on to Lesson 2. Selling the idea. Lesson 2 is all about answering this question. How do we get our organization to embrace an idea and thereby turn that idea into reality? Seth Godin tells us that most business gurus talk about how to make an idea before they teach you how to sell it. He recommends we take the reverse approach. Seth Godin says it like this: you need to learn how to sell something before you focus on what to make. In Free Prize Inside, he teaches us to champion an idea and sell our organization on making it a reality. Godin tells us that in order to properly champion an idea, we have to be prepared to answer the following 3 questions. First, is it going to be successful? Second, is it worth doing? And third, is this person able to champion the project? Let's start with the first question. Is it going to be successful? People like to work on projects they know are going to succeed. However, more often than not, it's impossible to guarantee the success of anything. Nevertheless, we can still get our organization to embrace the idea if we sell it properly. Seth Godin recommends we do the following. First, present the idea with confidence. Don't fake it. If you truly believe in the idea, others will believe in it too. Second, highlight why the idea is a safe bet. Focus on why you think the idea will definitely work. And third, present the idea as something more than a wild notion. Don't talk about how unique your idea is. Instead, relate it to more traditional and successful ideas. Let's move on to the next question. Is it worth doing? The point here is that even if your idea is likely to succeed, it's still going to take a lot of work. So, the key is to convince people that the work is worth doing. Everyone in the organization has their own personal goals. So, to effectively motivate the individuals involved with the project, you need to appeal to those personal goals. Seth Godin tells us to find out what each person thinks is important. Some are looking for a challenge. Some are interested in projects that raise the stock price. And others are interested in gaining recognition or fame. The key is to figure out who wants what and use that to convince each person that your idea is worth pursuing. Now, let's get to the final question your organization is going to ask. Is this person able to champion the project? In other words, do they trust you? Do the people in the organization believe that you have what it takes to bring your idea to the market? The key point here is that you must convince your organization that you are capable of leading the project, that you can make it a success. Now, if you have a track record of leadership and success, this is easy. But if you don't, you're going to have to build that reputation so your company will trust you. So that leads us to the next question. How do we build a reputation for success? Seth Godin says to start small. Volunteer for small leadership roles. Succeed in those roles. And repeat the process. Eventually, you will build a track record of success. Then, when the time comes to pitch your big idea, your boss or the investors will know that you can handle the project. Now, let's move on to lesson 3. Creating the free prize. The key to creating a free prize is edgecraft. You might be asking, what the heck is edgecraft? Seth Godin tells us that edgecraft is a methodological, measurable process that allows individuals and teams to inexorably identify the soft innovations that live on the edges of what already exists. And that is a mouthful, Seth. So, here are the steps to utilizing edgecraft. First, find a product or service that's completely unrelated to your industry. Second, figure out who's winning by being remarkable. Third, discover which edge they went to. Fourth, do that in your own industry. Fifth, go all the way to the edge. You can only create a free prize if you go all the way and create something remarkable. Now, let's use a hardware store to demonstrate the concept of edgecraft. Say you own a hardware store and you're looking for an edge to go to. Let's also say a nearby restaurant is a sudden success due to its all-you-can-eat crab legs night. This doesn't mean you should start selling crab legs at your hardware store. Instead, notice that the key to the restaurant's success is excess. You see, the goal here is not to copy the free prize in another industry. The goal is to recognize an edge and go to that edge in your own industry. Now, I leave you with this final message from Free Prize Inside by Seth Godin. You're only limited by your imagination. So get out there, find an edge, and make something happen. So you love learning, am I right? Well, YouTube has a video for you right here. So keep learning and please smash like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time on Mentally Fit.